Family members of a Biloxi 16-year-old shot and killed thought that the 5 teenagers charged in her death were her friends. Well, now those friends face capital murder charges. News 5's Brianna Hollis is in our newsroom with more on how the victim's family is dealing with this. Brianna?
Devin, they're sad, of course, they're heartbroken, but it really does seem to be shock over anything else right now because those family members say they have seen these suspects in their house before.
They were in our house, I thought, as friends a number of different times, yes. They just lived 2 or 3 houses down and across the street.
But when those 5 teens came over on February 24th, it went much differently. They left in handcuffs. 16-year-old Madison Harris left for dead. James Waldeck, who was engaged to Harris's grandmother, says he found out something was wrong when he got an alert on his Ring doorbell.
Charged in an unlocked door here at the carport, and within a matter of 10 seconds of shooting and screaming, and then them running out the door.
These are the 5 suspects: Yakishia Blackman, Willow Blackman, Jasmine Kelly, Jarvis Cook, and Jaquez Porter. They're all between 15 and 17 years old.
We think they were involved in a burglary at the house 2 weeks ago.
Waldeck reported the crime to police, and he thinks Monday's violence may have been in response to that.
And we're afraid that this may have been retaliation against us reporting their crime.
4 of the suspects are being held on a $1 million bond. One of them wasn't issued a bond because he has previous assault charges. Reporting live in the newsroom, Brianna Hollis, WKRG News 5.
Christine, they are demanding answers and calling for change. News of Devon Jordan's release leaving loved ones of one of the victims and crime victims advocates shocked and outraged. Tonight, Devon Jordan, who's charged with capital murder in the deaths of 2 men in Harris and Galveston counties, is out of jail.
And for him to be on the street today, I'm in disbelief. I'm shocked.
Glinda Martin says Jordan followed home her son, Joshua Sandoval, last May and shot him during a robbery. The same day Jordan failed to appear in court. Sandoval later died at a hospital. In December of last year, a month after his release from the Harris County Jail after posting a $500,000 bond, Jordan was charged in the capital murder of League City businessman Jeffrey Johnson, who he followed to his home after having dinner at a restaurant in the Galleria area. He remained behind bars in Galveston County until yesterday when he posted a $1 million bond.
And I get angry a lot. I haven't been this ticked off in a long time. He is a ticking time bomb. There is no way anyone in the public is safe while he is out here.
According to court papers, Jordan has a lengthy and violent criminal history, has repeatedly violated his bond conditions, and has been implicated in the Galleria organized crime ring. Capital murder is the only offense in which a judge has the discretion to grant a bond.
Judges need to face the facts and wake up. No bond for repeat violent felony offenders.
It's unclear tonight when Jordan is due back in court in Galveston County, but he's got 2 more court dates coming up next month, one on April 22nd in Fort Bend County and another on the 28th in Harris County. Reporting live in Midtown tonight, Andy Sirota, KPRC 2 News.
New developments this morning in the case of an elderly couple Mount Dora police say were murdered. Investigators identifying a person of interest in the case, 50-year-old Vicki Williams, days after her arrest hundreds of miles away. Ezzy Castro has been following this story all week and joins us live. Ezzy, police say Williams was driving the victim's car when she was caught.
Yeah, so investigators told us that she was arrested in Savannah, Georgia, but at this point she hasn't been charged with the killings, only been charged or facing car charges, at least for now. Mount Dora police say 50-year-old Vicki Williams is the person of interest in custody following the murders of Daryl and Sharon Getman. The 2 were found inside their home over the weekend at the Waterman Village Senior Living Community. Investigators say Williams was seen driving the Getman's car out of the complex the morning of New Year's Eve and was found with their vehicle in Georgia.
She is arrested for the theft of the vehicle, and she is clearly a person of interest for the homicide.
Investigators say Williams was seen at the property several times, hours before the couple was found dead. One resident told police a woman knocked on her door asking to take a shower. Meantime, we are hearing from the victims' family members. Their children released a statement saying in part, "We are stunned, devastated, and heartbroken by the horrific murder of our parents. If there are words to describe what has happened and its impact to our family and the community, we have not found them." And still, the chief won't say just how the couple was killed. Now, as for Williams, she awaits extradition back to Florida, and she could face some more charges as the investigation continues. Live in Mount Dora, Ezzy Castro, getting Results News 6.
Welcome back, everyone. It was only about a month ago when this man, 23-year-old Adam LeGrand of Elgin, was murdered at his family's electrical shop on Brazel Road. His family is calling his death senseless. 21-year-old Kenneth Shirley is charged with his death and will remain in jail until the trial. You may remember that officers were able to arrest Shirley after a manhunt. Caroline Hecker spoke with Adam's family today, including his fiancée, who was shot herself 3 times and is recovering from her injuries. Caroline?
Well, like you said, Dondi, that shooting happening here at the family's electrical shop. And as you can see, a very stark reminder, this door and garage door of the shop riddled in bullet holes. And tonight we are hearing from Miranda, Adam's fiance, who survived that shooting, and she's now hailing him her hero.
He was my perfect balance between love and strength, and he was my happily ever after.
For the short 23 years Adam LeGrand was alive, his family says he lived life to the fullest every day. A decorated bull rider, he traveled the country, adding accolades to his trophy case at every stop. Outside of the rodeo, his father says he would do anything for anybody.
He just really had a good heart. He never met a stranger at all. And befriending somebody is what cost him his life.
Adam's fiancée, Miranda, says March 21st was like any other day. The two were at his electrical shop cleaning out his truck when 21-year-old Kenneth Shirley asked to hang out.
We had a great time. We were all laughing and just having fun, and then he left to go to the store, and whenever he came back, it was like a completely different person.
She says Shirley was quiet, playing with his phone until he pulled out his gun, holding her and Adam at gunpoint.
He moved his gun from Adam and put it right here on my forehead and told me to get back.
She says Shirley got in his truck to leave, then suddenly jumped out and started shooting. The two turned to run, trying to take cover behind a car inside the shop.
Whenever I turned around and I saw him falling, we made eye contact, and it was like I felt him leave.
Miranda was shot 3 times but survived and is recovering from her injuries. The family says Shirley's bond was set at $100,000, but they aren't satisfied and fear he will be released.
Why should he be out on the street knowing that he killed my... I mean, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Meanwhile, the family is left to wonder, what if?
Everything was finally coming together, and it's like all of that was taken from us.
Now, Adam's father, Wayne, says he's not sure if justice will ever be served for the death of his son, but he says it can start with Kenneth Shirley staying in jail until that trial. Live in Elgin, Caroline Hecker, WIS News 10.
All right, Caroline, thank you. And in addition to Miranda being shot 3 times, she also suffered a fractured scapula and trauma to her left leg. She says the outside of her leg remains numb, and doctors are not sure if she'll ever regain full feeling.
Well, the 3 men accused of murdering a La Jolla High School graduate in a Craigslist killing have been found guilty. Garrett Berkey was shot and killed while trying to buy a computer. 10 News reporter Melissa Masiha was in the packed courtroom, and she shows us the family's reaction.
Garrett Berkey was just 18 years old when he was killed. His family told me here in court that they are satisfied with the verdicts because now they can finally come to some type of closure. Justice for Garrett Berkey. Today, the 3 men accused of killing him were found guilty of first-degree murder and robbery. Police say Rashawn Abernathy, Shondell Jones, and Shaquille Jordan, seen here in a previous court appearance, used a fake Craigslist ad for a computer to lure Berkey and his girlfriend to Paradise Hills last May. Instead, they robbed him and took off. Berkey, a La Jolla High School graduate, followed the car trying to get a license plate. The 2 cars eventually ended up in this cul-de-sac on Fleming Street. This 10 News virtual view shows how the suspect's car turned around, and once the 2 cars came together, prosecutors say Abernathy fired once into Berkey's car, killing him.
Everyone makes choices in life. They have to live with the choices they made. I mean, in my opinion, they chose to join a gang and they chose to rob and murder Garrett Berkey. So now they have to live with those consequences.
Outside of court today, Berkey's family said it's the hardest thing to lose a child. The defendant's attorneys say they are planning on filing an appeal. I spoke to the defendant's family, who said there was an injustice done. Now, Abernathy faces 50 years to life in prison. The other 2 face 25 years to life. Their sentencing is scheduled for January.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Doug Dunbar, streaming live right now, CBS and DFW. North Texas hospital executive Leslie Baker, we know, died in her driveway last month, and police quickly said it was a 16-year-old who tried carjacking her and then shot her dead. He faces a capital murder charge, but now that same charge is leveled against these 18 and 19-year-olds, you see, arrested today, connected, police say, to Baker's death. But her sister tonight doesn't want to focus on any of that. She told our CBS 11's Aaron Jones this evening that she'd rather remember what kind of person Leslie Baker was.
She was a 59-year-old wife and mother of 2. Leslie Baker, also a daughter and sibling to 2 sisters.
Our family's been very, very close. We were the type of family that we grew up together.
Laura Heatherly forever grateful for every moment they all spent together, including that last family dinner they shared.
We had a great dinner and really got to, spend some quality time and talk, and I loved every minute of it, and I will always cherish that time.
1 week later, Baker was found shot to death during an apparent carjacking outside her North Dallas home.
It's shocking. It's a horrible thing that, I just hated that it happened to our family.
Baker loved to run and would participate in the turkey trot every year. She was very involved with the YMCA and always seemed to be on the go. This summer, she had plans to travel with her family.
We always were, planning things like that, or, throwing little cocktail parties and all. So those are the things that were really special. And the main thing is that we have to go and love each other and do good like she did, and care for others and love our family.
In Dallas, Aaron Jones, CBS 11 News.
Also of note, Leslie's sister says her family has received a lot of love and support since her death. Aaron did ask how her family plans to remember her sister. She says they will do some work with the YMCA in her honor. As far as the case itself goes, as of tonight, police did arrest the 16-year-old unnamed juvenile suspect. That was 2 days after the murder. Police found him hiding in a shed after a chase. They connected him actually to 2 other carjackings in North Texas as well. Then fast forward to today and the 2 additional arrests made by Dallas police.
Well, they're calling for some accountability here. We found out an internal investigation into this incident is underway because the teenagers who attacked this woman, they were arrested and taken into custody, but they were released just hours later.
From the 3rd floor of my house, I heard screams of cries for help.
Arch McCowan ran out of his Butcher's Hill home to find his neighbor.
Right by here, and then I came out the door and saw her laying here.
She had been violently attacked and robbed. It was caught on his cameras near the corner of East Lombard and South Patterson Park Avenue.
Right there, and boom. Punch her, kick her.
The victim is now speaking with 11 News.
Am I going to get shot? Because that you don't know, that can happen, you don't know. That's what I was thinking.
She says they then stole her keys and ran off. McCowan was able to help police track them down. The attackers, a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. Both boys taken into custody.
They were arrested, and then within a few hours, they were released back onto the street. That is completely unacceptable, and it speaks to a breakdown in our public safety system.
Saturday, Councilmember Zeke Cohen and the city's state delegation sent this letter calling on the Secretary of Juvenile Services and the Baltimore Police Commissioner, stating, quote, "We are deeply concerned by a recent series of juvenile suspects in violent crimes released shortly after arrest without explanation. They're asking the agencies to find a fix to prevent these crimes and to better protect the people of Baltimore."
It's really upsetting for me, because that was a pretty rough incident for me.
Delegate Mark Edelson is also behind the letter. In a statement to 11 News, he calls this an operational breakdown that must be corrected with the utmost urgency, adding that the laws and policies currently on the books, if followed, would have and should have led to different results. Baltimore police tell 11 News that their internal review shows that officers acted within policy, adding, quote, "While we agree that the suspects should have been held in custody in order to protect the public, BPD was not responsible for the release of these individuals." The Department of Juvenile Services tells us tonight they're taking this seriously and that the matter is under review. Now, on Wednesday of next week, Cohen has called for a hearing at 1 p.m. at City Hall to discuss crimes like this one. We're now live at Baltimore Police Headquarters. I'm Tommy Clark, WBAL TV 11 News.
The St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office knew they had a serial rapist on their hands, but now they hope they're not dealing with a serial killer. A Fort Pierce man is already behind bars, linked to several rape cases, but in a new tragic twist, deputies discovered a woman's body in the trunk of his car. CBS 12's Lily Ortiz joins us with more on the man investigators call an animal and why they say this case is far from over.
Kano Brown, already behind bars on rape charges, could face even more charges after the body of missing Fort Pierce woman, 49-year-old Kathleen Black, was found in his trunk. And now investigators don't think she's the only one. They believe more victims are out there.
On Friday, we thought we had a serial rapist and we're looking for other rape victims. Now we have a murder victim. I just hope we're not dealing with a serial murderer.
St. Lucie County Sheriff Ken Mascara uncovering disturbing new details in the case of Kano Brown, an alleged serial rapist deputies arrested last Thursday. He says Brown attacked 4 women dating all the way back to 2016. 3 are still alive, but deputies say his latest victim, 49-year-old Kathleen Black, who was reported missing last week, will never see her kids again.
We believe that Brown picked up Kathleen Black, violently attacked her, killed her, and stuffed her body in the trunk of his car.
Days after his arrest, investigators discovered Black's body in the trunk of his car. The sheriff says Brown's family moved the vehicle from his Fort Pierce apartment complex. Once they noticed an odor coming from the car, they called 911.
We are asking if anyone knew the whereabouts and travels of Kathleen Black or Brown before his arrest. We would ask that you contact our detectives.
Black's friends and family shaken to the core, trying to make sense of it all. Many describe her as one who always talked about her kids and enjoyed fishing. Another saying she was kind and loved to joke and laugh.
Kathleen died at the hands of a predator. We know that, and we plan to do everything possible to ensure that he is held responsible.
According to an autopsy, the sheriff says Black died from injuries consistent with his violent attacks reported by other victims. The sheriff wants anyone victimized by Brown to come forward, reminding them there is nothing to fear. He is in custody, and he says that he is not going anywhere.
10 stern words from a judge after a Milwaukee man is sentenced today for his part in the killing of a city worker.
Prosecutors say Eric Smiley was the ringleader in a carjacking spree that left City Inspector Greg Ziggy Ziskevich dead. Our Ashley Sears joins us live now to explain he didn't pull the trigger in this case, but he actually got the harshest sentence here.
Stephanie, Eric Smiley will spend the next 32 years in prison. He wasn't the trigger man, but prosecutors here say he was the ringleader of that carjacking spree that killed Ziskevich.
This community needs to wake up.
A Milwaukee County judge not mincing words in the sentencing of a man convicted of playing a part in the killing of Milwaukee City worker Greg Ziggy Ziskevich.
Poverty does not excuse murder. Neither does lack of a high school education. It doesn't. And anyone that thinks it does is a moron.
23-year-old Eric Smiley pleaded guilty to felony murder and armed robbery. He didn't pull the trigger, but prosecutors say Smiley led Quaylen Shaw and Deshaun Scott in a carjacking spree that ended with Ziskevich shot to death in March of 2017.
I have really no excuse for what happened. There's nothing that I can say to justify what happened. It was completely wrong.
Smiley apologized for his actions that day as the defense painted a picture of a man who had a hard upbringing and made a bad decision.
That was a mistake that I made and not who I am.
The victim's family sat in the courtroom asking for the harshest sentence as they described the heartache they feel daily.
At times, I am so overcome with sadness, I actually find it difficult to breathe. That the ache of missing him is palpable.
The judge sentencing Smiley to 32 years in prison with 15 years of extended supervision.
A confrontation basically between good and evil won.
That 32 years was the harshest sentence of all the defendants involved in this case. Smiley is currently serving time in Green Bay for a separate crime. Reporting live outside of the Milwaukee County Courthouse, Ashley Sears, Fox 6 News.
Some powerful words from the judge today. Ashley, thank you.
Tributes pouring in across the metro tonight in honor of fallen Kansas City firefighter paramedic Graham Hoffman. Police say the 29-year-old died after being stabbed by a patient during what would have seemed like a routine call.
That patient identified as Shanetta Bazel, and she's charged with first-degree murder, armed criminal action, assault, also resisting arrest. We do have full team coverage tonight, starting with our Lexi French. So Lexi, you were in the Clay County courtroom today when Bazel appeared before a judge.
Yeah, Bria, Shanetta Bazel appeared virtually before the judge this afternoon. She's accused of stabbing Graham Hoffman in the chest while riding in the back of an ambulance early Sunday around 1:25. Now, while today's court appearance provided little new information about that investigation, court documents we're learning more from about other recent charges against Bazel. A spokesperson for the Clay County Prosecutor's Office told Fox 4 on Monday that they're focused on achieving justice inside the courtroom and supporting those affected by this crime. On Sunday, Clay County Prosecutor Zachary Thompson announced charges against 38-year-old Shanetta Bazel in connection with the killing of paramedic and firefighter Graham Hoffman.
Our community grieves his loss at such a young age with his entire life ahead of him. No words or actions can undo the tragic events that led us here tonight. That will not stop us from remaining steadfast in our pursuit of justice.
Bazel was arrested and charged with assault on a law enforcement officer just days before the killing of 29-year-old Graham Hoffman. Court records say Bazel bit a Platte City police officer on April 23rd. She was charged in Clay County and posted bond on April 25th.
So when we filed the initial charge and requested a warrant, and it was granted, the judge in that case, as in all criminal cases, reviewed the circumstances, determined the appropriate bond. In that case, bond was set at $10,000 and the defendant posted that bond.
The 38-year-old doesn't appear to have a criminal history in Missouri prior to the incident on April 23rd. She's being held on a $1 million bond for the charges connected to the killing of firefighter Hoffman.
The work to uncover more information about the facts and circumstances of this horrific crime continues. Let me be perfectly clear. Our office will use all legal, moral, and ethical tools at our disposal to ensure justice for Graham, his family, and our entire community.
Bazel is due back in court here in Clay County 1 week from today. That's for a bond review hearing, and a preliminary hearing has also been set in this case for June 6th.
With breaking news, a Kansas City firefighter paramedic is dead after being stabbed in the line of duty. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jackson Kurtz. Graham Hoffman was just 29 years old. He'd been with KCFD for about 3 years. Kansas City, Missouri police arrested the suspect, Shanetta Bazell. She faces several charges, including first-degree murder and armed criminal action. It happened after firefighters went to the area of North Oak Trafficway and Highway 152 around 1 a.m. this morning to respond to a medical call. As they were helping Bazell, they say she stabbed Hoffman in the chest, piercing his heart. Police arrested Bazell and EMS took Hoffman to North Kansas City Hospital. He died this afternoon. Earlier today, KCPD and KCFD led a procession from North Kansas City Hospital to the medical examiner's office in Kansas City, Kansas. There was a full escort with officers and motorcycles and ambulances. After this, the Clay County Prosecutor's Office held a press conference to update people on the situation. KMBC 9's Darissa White was there and joins us now live tonight. Darissa, so much more information. What more do we know about the suspect?
Yeah, Jackson, well, we've since learned more details since that press conference. We learned the suspect's name and we learned her lengthy criminal rap sheet. And now the only question remains is how did a routine transport turn deadly?
Police tell us around 1 a.m. KCPD and KCFD was dispatched.
Dispatch, send someone that way for Medic 14.
They tell us that they arrived on scene and saw a woman we now know as Shanetta Bazell, pictured here, walking on the shoulder of Highway 152 near Oak Trafficway. She had a laceration to her finger. While being transported, things turned deadly.
Yes, ASAP. My partners were stabbed.
In a press conference by the Clay County Prosecutor's Office, they detail the turn of events.
Our office will use all legal, moral, and ethical tools at our disposal to ensure justice for Graham, his family, and our entire community.
They say the ambulance they were following behind pulled over to the side of the road. Officers say they witnessed a struggle between Bazell and KCFD paramedic Graham Hoffman. Officers called for more assistance.
Medic 14 has a crew member that's been stabbed.
After realizing Graham had been stabbed in the chest during the struggle.
Life-saving efforts were performed in the emergency room, and he was placed in the ICU, where he later succumbed to his injuries.
Now the question remains how a routine transport turned fatal.
This is something totally new for the fire department, to have this sort of violent act. It's not uncommon to have a patient maybe be unruly. It's understandable. Sometimes things are going on, but to have something of this extent I've never seen anything like it.
Now the Clay County Prosecutor's Office says that Shanetta Bazell is being held on a $1 million bond. Reporting live in Liberty, Darissa White, KMBC 9 News.
All right, Darissa, thank you. And as Darissa mentioned, this is not Bazell's first run-in with the law. She was charged just last week in connection with allegedly attacking an off-duty officer. The officer said he attempted to detain Bazell, who allegedly resisted, grabbed his handcuffs, and tried multiple times to reach for a knife attached to his chest, to his vest, while attempting to call for help. On his police radio, the officer reported that Bazell bit his left forearm and refused to let go.
Today, I'm focused on grieving for his mother, his father, his sibling, his family, and everyone in the KCFD family.
First here at 10, the Kansas City Fire Department is mourning the loss of a paramedic firefighter who died in the line of duty today. 29-year-old Graham Hoffman was stabbed by a patient while working a routine call early this morning. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 4 News at 10. I'm Shannon Brousseau. Hoffman died from his injuries this afternoon. Fox 4's Lexi French joins us live now at North Kansas City Hospital. Lexi, charges have been filed against the patient accused of stabbing him. Is that right?
Yeah, Shannon, that's right. And KCFD officials describe Graham Hoffman as somebody who loved life and serving his community. He served with KCFD for 3 years. Now, Shanetta Bazell faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder, armed criminal action, assault, and resisting arrest in connection with the killing of 29-year-old Graham Hoffman.
This is a senseless act that has taken a young man from his family, friends, and co-workers and deprived our city of a dedicated firefighter who only wanted to serve and protect those in this community.
Hoffman was responding to a routine call around 1 a.m. on Sunday. He was stabbed by a patient while transporting her to a local hospital. Hoffman's partner immediately initiated a crew emergency.
And additional KCFD and KCPD personnel were dispatched to the scene. KCFD crews worked to save firefighter Hoffman's life while en route to North Kansas City Hospital. Life-saving efforts were performed in the emergency room, and he was placed in the ICU, where he later succumbed to his injuries.
KCFD held a procession for firefighter Hoffman Sunday afternoon at North Kansas City Hospital.
He was an excellent paramedic who treated his patients with the highest level of skill and compassion. The Kansas City Fire Department grieves with Graham's family, friends, and loved ones.
Hoffman usually worked out of KCFD station number 42, but was working overtime Sunday morning when he was fatally stabbed.
This should not have happened. There are a lot of things that have happened since I became mayor a few years ago. I never expected a line of duty death like this one. You never expect a violent criminal incident to bring this amount of pain to a community and a family. This is wholly unacceptable.
During a news conference Sunday afternoon, city leaders promised to support Hoffman's family as they navigate this unimaginable loss.
There will be many steps ahead as we evaluate what happened, as we review what occurred, as we address whatever needs to happen in the future. But today, I'm focused on grieving for his mother, his father, his sibling, his family, and everyone in the KCFD family. We know that we will stand with them not just today, but well into the future.
A criminal history check of Shanita Basel shows that she was arrested and charged with assault in the second degree and resisting arrest. Last week, she's accused of biting a police officer on April 23rd. She posted bond on April 25th. Tonight, though, she is in law enforcement custody, and Shannon, she's being held on $1 million bond.